halftime, 32-31. As far as statistics are concerned in the game, Georgetown shooting the better of it from the field. And the rebounds are what really surprised me. I didn't realize North Carolina was that far ahead.
That's hard to believe, but I guess you have to consider that Georgetown hadn't missed that many shots.
Billy, something we should keep in mind, and North Carolina's been a great second-half ball club during the tournament. They're shooting during tournament play over 75% from the field.
Well, they are, but they haven't had to play against a defense like they're seeing tonight. Pat Ewing has really been dominant inside, and it was 11 minutes and 59 seconds on the clock before North Carolina ever got a ball to go through that basket.
I think one thing that many people were worried about, concerned about, was a foul situation. Could Ewing stay out of foul trouble? There's no foul difficulty at the halftime mark. Look at it. It's been Gastonia and North Carolina against each other, 18 and 10.
That relationship right there, John Thompson and Pat Ewing, is amazing in this respect, how much John has brought him along to mature as an individual. And I think that's what we're seeing out here. Although only a freshman, he's playing a very mature ball game.
North Carolina will inbounds the ball. Interestingly enough, Worthy in those points. 8 of those shots that he hit in the first half were all within the paint, within the lane area, to show you the good open shots that he was getting, the good percentage shots. Baseline, Doherty, and Doherty takes it up and he's fouled.
Doherty held his ground inside looking for the pump fake. Nobody went for it. He was surrounded by both Spriggs and Ewing. Pat Ewing probably in that case figured he'd let Doherty release before he really went after the ball, but Doherty was able to pick up the 2-shot foul.
Spriggs commits a foul. Now this is what John Thompson did Saturday. He comes out with a different lineup to start the second half. Both times he started Spriggs in the second half of play. He's doing that tonight. Doherty at the line with 2 points, now 3 points, and it's all tied up.
Very interestingly, Dean Smith allows those players that would like to come out to shoot before a ball game in the morning, the day of the game, to come out. Only one player came out today. That was Matt Doherty.
He has been a little concerned about his shooting. He has given Carolina the lead. 33-32.
Here's the pressure, a little double team, recognized very well by Georgetown.
Fred Brown to Ewing. Ball play. Worthy's down and up, but he just took it inside. 12 points for the 7-foot freshman.
That was a great shot. Both teams are throwing the ball over the press very well. This is the first time we've seen somebody put it on the floor very much.
34-33, the Hoyas. Michael Jordan. Oh, what a shooter he is. He had a slump earlier this year, and he just stayed after practice and shot the ball until he got it back again.
Showed some concentration, kept his eye right on the rim, was not awed by Ewing coming at him.
6 points for Michael Jordan. A minute has gone by in the second half.
Straight man-to-man by North Carolina.
Floyd, push on. I think Perkins is guilty of pushing off inside. That's his first personal foul. And Floyd, who in that first half shot the ball very well, misses on that one.
Good defense by Jimmy Black, staying right with him, altering the jump shot a little bit. Perkins had his hand on Ewing all the way there, and it was well called by the official.
Floyd in the first half hit 5 of 8 from the field. Batted out of bounds by North Carolina. Georgetown will reset it. Pete Smith says, wait a minute.
Might have been, did he call a foul? I don't believe so. Let's see. No, just an out-of-bounds situation.
Well, Dean was up. He was in arms about it. Here comes Floyd, broken up. It's off of North Carolina. Doherty was trying to indicate it was off of Sleepy Floyd.
What's so tough, the double team, the club that's on the floor right now for Georgetown, is they really have 3 guards out there. Eric Smith can come out and play that way, so it allows Freddie Brown to be the guy who can be the recipient of passes rather than initiating all the offense.
Brown is not an outstanding outside shooter. They like to get him to penetrate inside, and here he is with the ball now. Indicating the offense. Good patience now by Georgetown. Eric Smith out to Sleepy Floyd.
2-1-2 zone now by North Carolina.
Boy, they found an opening there. Perkins and Ewing up against each other. It's off of Georgetown.
Well, now Perkins normally would just grab that rebound without any trouble, but with Ewing, everything is contested off the boards.
He's over his back, and he can pull it off with those long arms, and he's got about 3 to 4 inches of height advantage.
There's Spriggs, showing you how hard he works defensively.
Look at that, only 9 of 43. That's an interesting statistic. Let's see how it proves in this game. 35-34, North Carolina with the lead. Eric Smith. Out to Floyd. He had to change his shot. Reach in by Jimmy Black. Black to Worthy. Broken. Taken away by Floyd.
Great steal by Eric Floyd.
Smith to Brown. Perkins backs him out of there. Nothing doing, and here comes Jimmy Black again, almost re-stealing the ball. Eric Smith. Ewing follow tips. Ewing again. Ewing again. Ewing again.
That play will be remembered in this game. Pat Ewing starting to take control inside.
14 points for Ewing. 36-35, Georgetown to the lead. Oh, is it tough under the boards. And Doherty backs it out, 17-20 remaining. Black to Worthy. Boy, he draws a crowd, and Brown commits the foul. Wait a minute, they may count it on Spriggs. It could have been either one, it looked like.
Boy, you could hear the grunting down there under the boards on that last rebounding occasion where Ewing got his hands on the ball 3 or 4 times before putting it in.
It was Brown with the foul. Well, Carolina number 1, well, that hasn't been decided yet.
Every Carolina player is bending over with hands on knees right now. That's usually a sign that kids are very, very tired. Here's where Georgetown's bench may come to help them. See the Carolina players bending over with hands on their knees.
The substitutions, both freshmen, Bill Martin and Anthony Jones, come in. At the 17-15 mark, Doherty brings it out to Jordan. Doherty was really bent over as he was waiting inbounds that pass. Worthy off to Perkins. Look how they rotate around. Here's Jordan. He hit one here earlier, and he's going to try another one, and he's fouled. That basket would have counted had it gone in.
That freshman is not odd at all in this ball game. He takes the ball inside and penetrates. I think for North Carolina, they've got to figure out a way to get some production offensively out of Perkins. He only had 4 at halftime and hadn't been able to get a shot off here.
North Carolina.
At the line will be Jordan from Wilmington, North Carolina. I was talking about that shooting slump. He went in, Billy, and shot 82 extra shots after practice because it was the year of 1982. Walter Davis had a shooting slump in 77, so they shot 77 shots after practice. It got him back on track. He has 7 points in this game.
Of course, Walter Davis entered that tournament in 77 with a broken index finger, so he had somewhat of an excuse there.
Well, that's the year that many people feel that Dean Smith had the best ball club. Lagarde was hurt, Davis was hurt, Ford was hurt. Now, after that basket, it's 37-32. North Carolina with the 1-point lead. 16:57 to go. Here's Martin. Martin missed a couple of shots in the first half of play. And he lost his poise a little bit. It's going to be off of who? It's going to be off of North Carolina.
When Billy Martin comes into the ball game, that allows Worthy to slough off and help Perkins inside. They're going to force Martin to show he can make a shot from outside.
Jones is 1 of 3. The one for him, the other is 0 for 2. Steal by Worthy.
Watch Ewing.
He intimidated him. Followed beautifully by Michael Jordan. Jordan with 10 points.
Smart move, though, by North Carolina to try to get the break going a little bit.
Boy, he knew Ewing was in the vicinity. Changed the shot. Back door. Played before it. No foul. Worthy went down trying to draw the foul, but to no avail.
And who made the dish? Pat Ewing. Beautiful backdoor cut. The old blind pig play.
1-point lead for North Carolina. Look at Worthy get up in the air off to Black. It's like money in the bank when you throw the ball to that guy in the air. He just brings it down, and it's all over. 16 minutes to go.
I'm surprised they don't go to Worthy now. He's got Billy Martin on him.
Martin at 6'7", giving up a couple of inches. Perkins, there they go. Black, beautiful by Ewing. Oh, did he time that perfectly? Off to Martin. Bill Martin loses the ball. He's having a tough time. He's turned the ball over a couple of times. John Thompson is unhappy. Spriggs will come back in for Georgetown.
Here we see the over the head, but you can hear the big guy coming behind you, and Jimmy Black tries to get it up on the short hop. It's not there, and here comes Jordan again. We said a very dangerous offensive rebounder.
What an awful feeling that's got to be, Billy, to know that Ewing is coming down your back.
He is one of the best runners for a big man I have ever seen in basketball, and I think that's one of the assets he has. A lot of people don't rate it.
There's Ewing. Perkins, a jump hook. He got it off quickly.
As was the case in that rebound a few minutes ago. Perkins will remember that one.
6 points for Sam Perkins, 41-38. North Carolina with the lead, 15-14.
One of the things anybody playing North Carolina has to do is keep the game tight. They don't want them to start to get into the delay game.
Floyd cut off at the baseline, out to Spriggs. Eric Smith. Doherty, reach in by Worthy. Off off of Worthy, the quickness of James Worthy. And now Fred Brown will come in and Jones will come out. Jones and Martin, who came in to give the starters breathers, now come back out of the game. We've played over 5 minutes in the second half. Carolina with a 3-point lead. High above the Superdome. 14 minutes, 57 seconds left in this game. North Carolina has a 3-point lead. Gary Bender along with Billy Packer as Dean Smith trying for the first time to win the NCAA title.
Mike, I need to ask Mike Swanson a question. How many team timeouts does North Carolina have so far? Have they used any? Well, I think what we're going to see, Gary, is Dean Smith, rather than going to the bench for the rest, may use the timeout for the legitimate rest for his team because he'd like to keep this first 5 in there the rest of the way.
Important trip down the floor, as you mentioned. Georgetown cannot afford to drop too far behind and get North Carolina in that delay game. Floyd's going to take care of that problem.
Sensational outside jump shooting.
14 points for Sleepy Floyd.
Here comes the pressure.
41-40, Carolina by 1. Jimmy Black, you know, Jordan in this game, Billy, is a leading rebounder with 7.
And he's had at least 2 of those that he's put back up for scores on the offensive end. There's Worthy pushed off. Great play by Spriggs.
Spriggs trying to help the official that time, claiming it was off of Worthy, but it was not.
Spriggs was pushed by Worthy, still was quick enough. Now watch, see Worthy push him? He got away with a foul, and Spriggs was still quick enough to get over there.
We've had 8 lead changes. There's a steal. Stop. Eric Smith, though, recovers. And the tip by Ewing. Oh, what an effort by this Georgetown team. That was a tantalizing shot that finally dropped through. 16 points for Ewing. And now we have our 9th lead change of the game. 1-point lead for the Hoyas.
Sleepy Floyd playing both ends of the court. Look at Spriggs out there on Worthy.
Into Perkins. He's going to challenge Ewing. Blocked. Ewing got a piece of it, but Worthy is there. Boy, a 1-2 punch that time.
That's what I talked about early in the game, that Perkins could occupy Ewing if they got him the ball. He makes him play honest.
20 points now for Worthy. Playing outstanding basketball. 43-42, North Carolina into Ewing. Perkins tries to stop him, but to no avail. He can put the ball down and move with it.
Not good defense that time by North Carolina. You want to go after that ball if he puts it down that close.
44-43, Georgetown. Seesaw back and forth. 13-10 left in the game. Ewing coming out on Perkins. Look at him. Billy, stay with him. Jordan almost walked to the ball. Rebound by Ewing, and Ewing's all over the place.
North Carolina may need a timeout right now. Their guys are getting very tired.
Georgetown with the lead. They can add to it. Ewing's going to do that. It'll count, and he's fouled by Sam Perkins. Perkins commits a foul. A 3-point play possibility coming up.
You can feel a little momentum change. The Carolina players getting tired. Now Dean Smith putting in Peterson. Here you go. Ewing on the inside, looking for that ball, giving a good target, keeping his hands up. Perkins goes with him, and when he flicks that wrist down, he comes down with a foul. Ewing with a chance for the 3-pointer.
Great camera work. You could just see the rotation on the ball. Ewing this year averaged only 12.5 points a game, but he has 18 tonight to go with 7 rebounds.
Gives that ball a little massage.
Oh. What a basketball player, and he's just a freshman. John Thompson has brought him along very, very carefully, and he has been nailing those free throws. He has 19 points.
Uh-oh!
Ooh, almost.
Well, what happened? The ball was tipped by defensive player, and then it hit under the backboard.
North Carolina now trailing 47-43. Here's Peterson, the man you mentioned, that came in for Jordan. A steal attempt by Floyd.
Dean Smith needs a timeout.
Floyd missed another layup. That's 2 now. 1 stop that he missed in that one. He's all over, though, defensively. Here's Perkins. Sam Perkins, 6'9", shooting outside, cuts it to 2.
Big break for North Carolina. Sleepy Floyd really angry with himself for missing that one.
Floyd is really showing why he was a consensus All-American, as is Worthy. They're living up to all the billing that they've had all year long. That's a foul on Black. Black trying to stay with Floyd somehow. Look at him discuss the situation.
Yep, there's
great respect for each other.
Little temper going right there. Jimmy Black, as we said, had a great game against Granger. There he pushed him on off. Floyd's not going to be intimidated. You can count on that.
First foul
there they
on
are,
Black.
coming back with a little elbow of his own.
Third team foul on North Carolina. Black having to apply it a little closer. The defensive pressure. Floyd is open. Yeah, I tell you, it's just amazing what he's doing.
Well, you cannot double team the ball and leave Sleepy Floyd alone.
Back to a 4-point lead now for Georgetown. 11:55 to go. Buzz Peterson. Ewing comes down, loses it. Floyd is there. He saves it. Off it comes to Fred Brown.
The momentum's changing.
Brown mishandled the ball. He lost the handle. A basketball count, and this foul is going to go on Sleepy Floyd.
Just when you think the momentum is going all Georgetown, Worthy gets it. Sleepy Floyd's seen this play before. There's no way he's going to stop James Worthy on that dunk. And listen to the fans in here. They see it on the big screen over again, and they're just enjoying it.
Two men from Gastonia, North Carolina, meeting there. They both went to the same church. They did not go to the same high school. They met one year in the state championship final. The scoreboard comes into focus. 11:41 left. Georgetown with a 49-47 lead. Worthy with that magnificent play a while ago has set a tourney career high for himself of 22 points. And when he winds it up, I don't think there's any air left in the ballpark.
You know, it's interesting. We've made the comparison and talked about the two kids from Gastonia, but Sleepy Floyd was not a highly recruited player as a senior in high school, whereas James Worthy was wanted by everybody in the country as early as his sophomore year in college. And yet they both turned out to be All-Americans. Kind of an interesting story.
Chance for this three-point play for Worthy. It's a one-point game.
North Carolina has been doing a lot of double teaming, but what has been killing them is that Sleepy Floyd's not handling the ball, so he's always away from the double team to be in a shooting position.
And he really moves off the ball, doesn't he? Eric Smith. Ed Spriggs will bring it back out to Sleepy Floyd. He wants to shoot again. That's one of the few he hasn't hit from there. Here's Worthy bringing it out to Jordan. Jordan walked to the ball, I believe. Yes, he did.
Credit Eric Smith. Any team that wins the national championship is great in transition play. They can go from offense to defense well. Eric Smith back there waiting on the pass, and that's why Jordan took his eye off it.
10 turnovers now against North Carolina. 11-12 left in the game. Doherty coming out. Here's Spriggs. Spriggs handles the ball and moves so well for a man at 6'9". They have great confidence in that ability.
It's Perkins playing Spriggs. Worthy now over on Ewing.
Reach in, Jimmy Black trying to stay with Sleepy Floyd, and he's fouled. Jordan coming across. He was creating things inside.
Floyd, when he has the ball, penetrates, and when he doesn't have the ball, he offsets beautifully to get the open jumpers.
Second foul on Michael Jordan, fourth. There it is, Ewing and Floyd, the 1-2 punch. Worthy been leading the way for North Carolina. Again, Jordan with those 10 points is the leading rebounder. 49-48. The Hoyas with the advantage.
They've got the lob to Ewing. Worthy is really working him hard, but Ewing's so much bigger.
Open is Eric Smith. Gets the roll. 12 points for Eric Smith. 51-48. Jordan, that was Ewing, just got his hands up.
Hit the side of the backboard.
Ewing, oh, if he'd have made that, that would have been incredible.
Now here you got a 4-on-1 break.
Doherty to Jordan, Spriggs out on him, good coverage defensively, he still hit it. Oh, what presence of mind.
It's amazing what the freshmen can do. A few years ago, freshmen weren't eligible for varsity play, and now they come out here and they're the stars of the game. North Carolina goes back in their 2-1-2 matchup zone.
Jordan, the fourth freshman in Dean Smith's tenure at North Carolina to start from the first game on. And you can see why.
North Carolina players are standing still defensively. There's no pressure on the ball. They're very, very tired. And there's Sleepy Floyd going right through the zone.
9:45 left in the game. Eric Smith on the move. He draws the crowd, and he's fouled. Nice power move inside. These guys, I don't think that hairstyle is going to be popular very soon.
There's James Worthy going out. The North Carolina players losing some resiliency in their leg. Georgetown much fresher by going to that deep bench.
Worthy committed that foul. That is his first personal. Smith at the line. You know what's good about this game, Billy? Thus far, no foul difficulty. Both teams able to really go after each other. Officials doing a good job.
67% free throw shooter.
He has 13 points. John Thompson, the ever-present towel.
John Thompson was a high school coach, had a player by the name of Donald Washington, who he adopted as his own son when his parents passed away, and he was the player that Dean Smith recruited, and that's how they started their friendship.
And then, of course, in '76 with the
10
Olympic
seconds,
team.
10 seconds, 10 seconds.
And he just made it. And he almost stepped out of bounds. He's fouled instead by Fred Brown.
Big play by Fred Brown. Jimmy Black to be able to have the presence to get that ball over the half-court line, because it was very close to 10 seconds.
And that is going to be against Brown, his fourth personal. Worthy will come back in.
Dean Smith trying to save those timeouts.
Gene Smith will come in and replace him. We've got to get Brown out of there with the four personals. And during all that, Worthy and Hancock were kind of pushing, trying to jockey for position.
Right, Worthy was trying to take a position on the court. Hancock came up and tried to prevent him. Hank Nichols talking to him there, say, fellas, let's just take it easy.
Now Gene Smith is in. There he is. He's a defensive standout. They get him in there to kind of pick up the tempo defensively. Replacing Brown at the 9:30 mark of this game. A 3-point lead for Georgetown.
And he comes in there fresh. Now you got Hancock very fresh, and you have Gene Smith fresh.
Look at Ewing out here. Clear out in the backcourt playing defense. There's your time left. Smith now picking up Jimmy Black, and Smith can play the defense. And he gets picked up a foul.
That was a costly foul. Smith and Freddie Brown picking up 2 cheap fouls. Ties things up in the team foul situation. Is that the 6th?
That's the 6th, Billy.
The next one will be 1 and 1.
One more, and they'll be shooting free throws.
Carolina had 5 team fouls. They are very good at not getting into that 1-and-1 situation, and they'll be playing a lot more zone. There's
another one.
Now, you know what caused that? Hancock fighting for position. Remember before when the ball was out of bounds? And I think Hank Nichols saying we're not going to have any of that. And boom, he calls a quick foul.
Now they're in the bonus with 9:11 to go, and 3 fouls in a matter of seconds, and all of them way away from the basket.
Very cheap touch fouls by the guys that came off the bench to put a little defensive pressure on. But Hancock picked up that foul with a little altercation that took play a while ago.
Worthy with 23 points. From the free throw line, he's been hitting almost 90%, and we just jinxed him with that one. But look at the rebound by Jordan. Jordan just has been outstanding on the boards. Gordy, beautiful pass to Worthy. Worthy with 25. A 1-point lead for the Hoyas. 8:50 left in this game.
Trying to shake Jimmy Black loose on the man-to-man. North Carolina going back to the man-to-man now.
Look at the shoving between Perkins and Ewing. Floyd, that was a reach-in by Jordan. Jordan is playing superb basketball to Worthy.
Going to be a timeout by Georgetown right now, a timeout.
And he's going to have a foul, though. Doherty commits a foul before the timeout. Matt Doherty has committed a foul.
Now, the key thing here is, was the timeout granted before the foul? And I believe they're going to say it was.
That's exactly what they did. John Thompson is arguing.
It's a big call. Now, John's got to be careful here. He's got to be careful. He could get the tee and it would kill him because it's his ball. He's got to be careful here. You don't want a technical foul called on you, a 2-shot foul and lose possession of the ball.
So no foul on Doherty. Instead, Georgetown gets the timeout with 8:27 to play. One of 3. It's still Georgetown with the advantage. 55-54. 7 minutes, 40 seconds to go in this championship game. To Spriggs. Spriggs is fouled. Worthy committing the foul. That's the second on James Worthy. The 6th team foul. One more, and they'll be shooting the bonus.
What's so interesting here, you have two really well-coached clubs. They're sticking with their offense, and when you figure things get a little frayed, clubs that are well-taught, as these two teams are, go right back to the basic fundamentals.
Buzz Peterson checking in. Last year, North Carolina lost to Indiana 63-50. Their average margin of loss have been about 12 points. But this one has been a one-point game, back and forth. Spriggs, important free throws are not finding the mark.
Spriggs, a 68% free throw shooter, only went to the line 44 times this year.
Spriggs can give them a two-point advantage. 56-54, the pressure by the Hoyas. They have been taking a lot of time getting this ball up. They've got to hurry, and they find Peterson. Buzz Peterson, nice pass to Worthy. It's off of Georgetown.
That was Smith again, coming from behind. Just no let-up defensively.
And so North Carolina will inbounds at the 7:25 mark. Both these teams have won 30 games this year. Best records. Dean Smith's tenure and the best record in the history of Georgetown. Last time they were in the finals, 1943. They lost to Wyoming.
Georgetown likes to keep that pressure on with the man-to-man. Not a good pass. Not a good pass.
Spriggs saved it in. Boy, the agility of him is something to see. Brown almost lost it. Bad pass. That's twice Brown has lost the handle when he's tried to pass the ball.
Exactly right. Jimmy Black pushing off.
That's 10 turnovers against Georgetown. As Peterson will check out, Jordan, 23, checks back into the game.
There's Denny Crum, who had such a great performance out of his team here on Saturday.
You mentioned the intensity of that game. 1980, he won it all. Here is Black. The chance now on this trip down the floor to tie this ball game up. 6:44 left in it.
One to check out the defense. Oh, Ewing comes down with a cheap slap. Very costly foul.
Now that's his third. Another one, and obviously it would change the complexion of defensively what John Thompson wants to do. And he's going to talk to him.
Going to talk to him. Carolina is worthy. Well, you don't get to the Final Four if you're not worthy, and that goes for all the teams that have been here. Outstanding comeback performance by Houston here Saturday also. You're down 14-0. You figure you throw in the towel. Instead, they battled back.
That's 9 points in the game for Perkins. He is now 3 of 5 from the line and a chance to tie it up. Billy, sometimes you get to the championship game and it doesn't work out the way you think it would, but this is something, isn't it?
This is a great one.
56 all. The pressure now by North Carolina. There's
Here we have the double teams, but with these three guards in the game right now, Smith, Brown, and Sleepy Floyd, they handle that press very well.
This game has been tied 8 times. Fred Brown trying to work into Ewing, broken up nicely by Jordan, but saved by Ewing with a good hand.
See, they're going to give Fred Brown the shot. Therefore, it's tough for him to feed Ewing because Jordan's going to drop back in there.
Brown not known for the outside shooting ability. There's a steal by Worthy.
He'll show some speed here.
And he's fouled. That foul will go on Eric Smith. I can see why Dean Smith says Worthy's the fastest player they've got.
Well, you got to remember this, Gary. He's dribbling the ball. Those guys are running without the ball, and he's beating them down the court. You know, I mean, it's a little different. You're in a foot race, and you're running without the ball. The other guy's got to keep up with the ball. And he's 6'9" and weighs 220.
27 points, a career high for James Worthy, and he's trying to add to that at the 6:04 mark. You know, some people, I'm sure, when they look at All-American lists, they say, how can you pick a guy that's only averaging 15 points a game? But he just fits in where they need him. And here's an example, 28 tonight.
Well, basketball is a team game. He's short again.
Tipped up, almost followed by Jordan, and Jordy's got it. Floyd bounced off of him, no whistle.
Michael Jordan has led both teams in rebounding tonight, and he got in again on another offensive rebound.
57-56, Carolina.
We're seeing a little four corners look right here.
Worthy out to Jordan.
This is a half of a four corners. 5:41 to go. North Carolina sitting on it.
Ewing's got to be careful. He has 3 fouls. Playing Perkins, Black almost lost it. And he's fouled by Ewing, and that's 4.
Pat Patrick Ewing has to be careful, and John Thompson called a great timeout here because Patrick Ewing is so aggressive. He tries to chase against this four corners, and he's going to pick up cheap fouls.
Now, with Ewing in foul difficulty, you think North Carolina will go at him, or will they just continue what they're doing?
No, I think they're going to spread it in what they call their 4C offense. And you got to go back now to 1977, Gary, when North Carolina got the lead on Marquette, and they tried to go ahead and spread it out in the four corners. Marquette stayed back in like a passive zone and let the clock go down a little bit. And by doing that, when North Carolina wasn't able to execute, Marquette finally got control of the game. But we really have a coaching clinic going on right now. John Thompson having to prepare his players for the four corners. Dean Smith outlining exactly what they want to do execution-wise, making sure nobody tries to make the spectacular play.
You saw that sign a while ago to Albuquerque. That's where the NCAA Final Four is going to be next year.
You know, Gary, I love to look at this old newspaper write-up about the last time Georgetown was in the Final Four. And one of the things that was funny on the clipping coming out of New York, the big centers hold the spotlight for the championship game between Georgetown and Wyoming. The centers were 6'6" and 6'5".
That's just a big-sized guard now. And an off forward. Dean Smith now in a pretty good situation. A 1-point lead, 4 fouls on Pat Ewing. And the way they can set on the ball, he's started to maybe have that momentum switch just a little bit in his favor. Black at the line, 2 points. He has 6 assists in this game. You might recall in that Villanova game in the East Region Final, he had 10 assists. He's second only to Phil Ford, all-time North Carolina assist list. He had over 500 assists in his career, and now important free throws coming up.
73% free throw shooter.
1-1. It's back to a 2-point lead.
First time I've seen Pat Ewing look up at the clock. He normally concentrates totally on the game. You think he's thinking a little bit?
A 3-point advantage now. Still 5.5 minutes to go.
Here's the double team by Black.
Good effort there by Brown. Kept his poise. Off to Floyd. Out to Eric Smith. Jordan dropping back. You said that earlier. They'll let him shoot the ball.
Straight man-to-man.
Into Ewing. And we're going to have a foul on Worthy. He's over the back of Brown, and that's 3 on James Worthy.
That was a big play by Freddie Brown, who hasn't been shooting that much. We'll see the play inside. Ewing comes up a little short on this jumper. Nice technique, good follow-through. There's Brown, a big fellow, an excellent call by the officials. And in addition to a super championship game, we'd have to say this is one of the best officiated games of this caliber I've seen in a long time.
Now they're shooting free throws, 17 fouls, 2 points for Brown, who's not a very good free throw shooter. During the regular year, he shot 63%. It doesing matter now.
Really doesn't. He's a gutty ball player.
And now he can cut it to 1 point.
Well, he gave him the MVP award for Saturday's play. What did he have, 6 points? 4 points.
59-58. Georgetown is 8 of 9 from the free throw line. They haven't been there that often, but when they have been, they have taken advantage of it. North Carolina's 13-19.
Here comes the spread. Perkins and Ewing.
The Doherty, Ewing and Perkins still pushing around. Remember now, Ewing playing with 4 personals. 4 minutes, 45 seconds left in the game. A 1-point lead for Carolina.
North Carolina looking for a backdoor layup here. This is not a complete stall. They are offensively looking for the backdoor layup.
Crowd starting now to get into this one. Last and the only time North Carolina won it all was in 1957. There's a steal by Floyd. Stepped out of bounds.
Now watching this offense right now, the guy that seems to be a little shaky is Michael Jordan, because he's catching the ball, putting it on the ground and losing his dribble, then picking it up, and everybody's overplaying.
Ewing this year is fouled out of 5 games, only 1 time in tournament play. That was against Oregon State.
They have Ewing matched up on Worthy now. See if North Carolina tries to take advantage of it.
4 minutes, 10 seconds to go. Black. Boy, this is something that Carolina has had as a trademark for so long. Tension mounting as we approach, and exactly 4 minutes now left in the game.
People say that they don't like the stall, but you tell me there's not tension created by this.
The stall started at the 5:11 mark, and you see the time remaining.
Another thing this does for North Carolina, it gives them a chance to rest a little bit, as they were getting very tired. Jimmy Black tries the backdoor cuts, not there.
It'll be North Carolina's ball. Gene Smith will come in. That gives John Thompson an opportunity to get an outstanding defensive player in. Brown will come out of the ball game. Brown still may have a little trouble with that thigh, that leg that's wrapped heavily. So now Smith is in. 3:35 left.
Both teams in the 1-1. Both coaches have conserved their timeouts very well.
Remember this, the next hell ball would go to Georgetown as Jordan on the...
Oh, what a layup! He put that ball up about 12 feet. Left hand.
He has 14 points, 10 of them in the second half of play. 61-58. That was just amazing. An offhand, a left-hand shot.
They've got to concentrate now on Sleepy Floyd.
Georgetown can't take an awful lot of time. 3 minutes now left in the game, down by 3.
John Thompson looking to go ahead and maybe get a timeout. He's trying to tell his club what to do without the timeout. North Carolina in the matchup zone.
Georgetown has only one timeout left, Billy.
That's why he didn't want to use it. He's trying to instruct his club without it. Floyd's going to get ready for a jumper.
Out to Gene Smith. They don't want him shooting. He's not that good a shooter from outside. Ewing's going to try it. It's a one-point ball game with 2.5 minutes to go. 23 points for Pat Ewing. 2:30. Ewing with 23, his career high. Out it comes to Black. Worthy picked up by Spriggs. Now he posted on the time, 2:15.
Georgetown can get themselves a little tired right here because they're doing all the work right now.
Doherty, both teams in the bonus. So the fouls would send them to the line. The hell ball would go to Georgetown. Less than 2 minutes to go. 1:56.
That's a dangerous pass, that lazy pass going cross court. Here's Ewing, he can't afford to reach.
You saw Gene Smith try to sneak in from behind. 1:40. Now it's on your screen.
Now North Carolina wanting to change their offense.
Here's Jordan, who made that remarkable drive a while ago. He has 9 rebounds to go with his 14 points tonight.
Eric Smith hurt his leg on that play. He's really limping.
He's giving chase to Doherty, and he almost pulled it off. He commits the foul. You can see he is limping. That's 4 on Eric Smith.
Some reach. He's quite an athlete. Start talking about basketball players that would have some potential in the defensive backfield in football. He's one of them.
He's shaking it off. John Thompson looked him over to see if he wanted to stay in the ball game, and he seems to be all right.
See John Thompson talking to his club now. He does not want to use that timeout. Dean Smith has quite a few left.
Now in this ball game, Doherty has hit 2 of 2 from the line with 4 points. The only guy that hasn't shot perfectly from the line in the starting 5 is Worthy. He's 2 of 5. This is in the second half I'm talking about. And at the line, Matt Doherty. He hit some big free throws you might remember in tournament play in the East region. Now with a big 1-and-1.
Long. That wasn't even close.
And now Georgetown can take the lead. 1:16 left. That's 10 rebounds for Pat Ewing. Eric Smith off to Pat Ewing.
Hancock was wide open under the basket. Nobody saw him. I figure Sleepy Floyd's going to go for the jumper.
Is he ever? Fake beautifully once, twice, gets a roll, and the Hoyas lead by 1. What a play by Sleepy Floyd.
52 seconds.
18 points in the game for the All-American. And as we suspected, it's going right down to the wire.
And Georgetown's going to go into the zone. They are not going to come out and chase. And North Carolina now cannot go to the 4 corners.
With that odd point, we're going for a game-winning or a losing shot, and Dean Smith asks and gets timeout. That was the 15th lead change we've had in this ball game on that remarkable suspension in midair by Sleepy Floyd. We'll be back. You see the time remaining, 32 seconds to win the championship.
Classic Madness continues with Georgetown versus North Carolina on ESPN Classic.
Georgetown adds the lead, and I just cannot believe this play that Sleepy Floyd made.
Well, you knew he was going to take it. He's a money player. A double fake. Had a guy in front, a guy behind, and Georgetown getting some nice bounces now. Ewings did the same thing right before that. What it does, Gary, it changes the offensive philosophy completely for North Carolina. They, with the lead, could force Georgetown to be man-to-man. Now Georgetown back in the zone. Most coaches, though, with a timeout, go ahead and change their defense just to throw the other team off stride. Let's see if Georgetown now comes out man-to-man.
Georgetown still has one timeout left. North Carolina has 4. 32 seconds to go. A 1-point lead for Georgetown.
No, they stay in the 1-3-1 with Ewing in the middle. They've got to look to get it in there. You can't with a shot blocker like Ewing take so much time.
Doherty to Black. The time, 18. Shot, Jordan! Michael Jordan!
14 seconds.
Red Brown.
Look for Sleepy Floyd.
Oh, he threw it to the wrong man! He threw it to Worthy.
It's over! It's over!
He's fouled by Eric Smith. Fred Brown somehow or another threw the ball into the hands of James Worthy.
Look at Dean Smith, totally in control. Everybody going crazy. See if he doesn't call a timeout to settle things down.
The emotion. Jordan is down. He is down and now getting up. There's Black. That's Black. He can't believe it. He's been on 3 straight ACC championship teams but never won at all. But I tell you, the guy you got to feel bad for is Fred Brown. It's like he looked back. I don't know why or what happened. Let's look at it.
Here it is right here. You know what might have flashed in front of him right there? He saw the blue and the white go by and just lost concentration. That was a smart foul right there. We've got 2 seconds to go.
Look at this. The emotion of NCAA basketball.
Now, Worthy just has to get that ball up there. If he hits the rim, he's in good shape, even if he misses the shot, because Georgetown in bad shape foul-wise.
They have one timeout left.
Eric Smith is fouled out of the ball game.
And after all of that, he did. As he tried to come back and double up and come up with the ball.
Dean Smith looked at James Worthy and said, make these. What else?
Smith leaves the game with 14 points, 3 rebounds. Now Worthy is the man that I guess should be resting on his shoulders. He's had 28 points tonight, but he's hit only 2 of 5 from the free throw line.
It's a very, very big shot.
Now they're going to call timeout. Is Georgetown calling that?
No, I can't believe John Thompson would have called that. I believe Dean Smith did, just to reorganize the whole situation. He called his 5th. Very surprising, unless John wants to just give him a talk to about the future, because now he can't do anything other than throw the long pass if the shot is missed.
Well, he's run out of timeouts.
That's right, that's his 5th.
And so even if they get the rebound on this, 2 seconds, there's nothing left you can do.
That's right. Very interestingly, in the rule changes in basketball and thinking ahead into next year, although this game certainly is not over. One change we're going to see, the jump ball situation. If the defense creates the jump ball will turn over to the defense and disregard the pointing of the arrow, which I think most coaches have asked for. The clock, we won't see that at all. And what we may also see, there's been some talk, if a game goes into overtime and a player is fouled out, he gets an opportunity to come back with 1 more foul.
Well, for so many years, they said about Dean Smith, he couldn't win the big one. He's 2 seconds away from winning the big one now. The 7th time he's been to the Final Four, the 4th time in the championship game. And let's watch. We'll just watch and see what develops.
They call it a 2-shot intentional, evidently.
No one moved anyway. That's what it was.
They called it a 2-shot intentional. We never did get that signal.
Now there's where they could have used the timeout. And Georgetown loses it. North Carolina has won the 1982 NCAA championship. that mistook James Worthy for one of his own teammates as they came down the floor and threw it into the grasp of Worthy. And North Carolina has won the second national championship in the history of their school. And look at the ejection on the face of Matt Ewing and Eric Smith. Ewing just played an outstanding basketball game. 23 points. It certainly does say it all. Georgetown having their 10-game winning streak snapped. They will finish 30-7. James Worthy, when they cut the nets down in Raleigh in the East region, gave the net away. He said, I wanted the net at the Final Four. Well, they're going to have the net here at the Final Four of the championship game. And so that long, dry spell for Dean Smith has come to a close. And we can't say enough for this gentleman. What an outstanding human being he is. John Thompson, and there's Worthy, the guy who wanted the net. Well, he had to wait an extra week for it, but he got it.